Good day and welcome to another week of A Week at the Plot. Some of our lettuce is still surviving. You can just see some green flecks, and in fact there's a little leaf there, a little leaf there, a little leaf there, but the ones this end are generally doing better. But what I have noticed is, look, there's a little hole there, a little hole there, and over there, a little hole over there. And I'm wondering if that's mice. The coriander is still fine. Tidying to do. The cuttings that we brought back from Mum in July, the Hottentot figs all look as though they've taken, which is great. The standard geraniums we didn't have one there. I think we had 9, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 which have taken. These are our parsley, which are going to go in the bed behind me, we've just seen. I'm going to be harvesting the seed from that standard shaped cucumber maybe later on today. Of the global geraniums that we took, we've had a bit of a, we've only got this one that has survived, which is sort of unusual for geraniums, but you know what, for global I find they are a bit more difficult. And then we look here, these are the lavender cuttings we took. As you can see, this one here has died, this one here has died, but all the others seem absolutely fine. So, you know, that's good. And I'm just in the polytunnel, obviously. I strimmed. When did I strim? I strimmed last week, didn't I? On Tuesday. So it's now Tuesday. It's a week later. And you'd hardly think that this grass in front of the poly here had been strimmed. I mean, it really is growing. I've just put the strimmer away, but I think on a dry day, hello Mr. Magpie, on a dry day I'll be back down here to strim again. If the weather continues like this, even though it's quite cold this morning, if the weather continues being sunny, then that grass will grow. And one job I'm going to do this week, having weeded that on Sunday, is start getting cardboard down on top of those 2 beds, or the ends of those 2 beds. How are the things that I transplanted? Yeah, that's a pansy I transplanted. That's looking okay. There's a pansy there sort of towards the top right of the screen that was transplanted, and that verbascum looks fine as well. Yeah, and over here just in that bed we've got quite a lot of California poppy and nigella and a few other sort of wildflower plants, seedlings that I'm leaving go, but I will be tidying other areas up sort of very soon. Yeah, now I've got time. Oh, there's a plane coming over. Yeah, I didn't expect to be down here actually. I thought I might be down later, but I've had to switch my day around a bit. Let me just pop into the poly. I am, as I say, down here a little unexpectedly, so I just thought I would water the lettuce that we do have here, and also the soil, the compost, because the parsley is going to be going into this bed this week. And the reason I'm down here is I got a call from the charity this morning, who had received in the post a letter from the water company saying that we were using quite a lot of water each day. And it didn't seem quite right, what they were saying. And I mean, like 1,000 litres is a cubic meter. And you know, we can use much more than a cubic meter when everyone is down here growing, but certainly not at this time of year. And the letter seemed to imply that the water was being used in the last couple of weeks. They also said that the meter had changed to a smart meter. And anyway, I thought, let me go down and have a look. And I came down, I've read the meter. The meter that I read is the same one that I've been reading for a good many years now. It is, I think, a smart meter because it is flashing with the wireless symbol. So it is a smart meter, but it just doesn't seem to ring true to the letter that the charity received. But always best to investigate. So I've taken a meter reading, and even though we're using comparatively a little more water in October so far than we did in September, of course September so far for October, September was a wetter month right through than October has been so far for us. Though I was looking on Jane's Facebook page yesterday, spider. I was looking on Jane's Facebook page yesterday, and she did say that they are due in Shropshire an awful lot of rain this week. So I haven't looked at our weather forecast yet, so I will have to do that. But yeah, there's quite a big plane going over, but I'm just going to chat through it. So yeah, I've come down, I've done a meter reading. Nothing is particularly abnormal in that meter reading. And I then went, it is very loud, isn't it? I think that must be an A380 or something like that. In fact, the A380 is a bit quieter. Yeah, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm not a plane spotter, so I don't know what planes are, apart from the A380. So yeah, I've walked the site. I've gone to each of the standpoints where the water comes through the tap, obviously, and people can affix their hoses usually, or fill the water tubs, or fill their watering cans. And there is no obvious sign of leakage under any of those or from the taps. And I've walked the whole pathway, the pathways at the site here, and there's no areas that are significantly wetter than I would expect them to be. There's a lot of dew on the ground at the moment. It's about 12:30 and there's still a lot of dew on the ground. But yeah, there's nothing obvious that would say to me there's water leakage here that could be using an awful lot of water. But you know, with 90 plots, I don't know if the letter seems to be a bit vague, because with 90 plots in the high summer, you know, we can be using a significant amount of water. So yeah, anyway, I have taken the meter reading, I have sent that back to the charity, I've reported back to the charity my findings, which are none, and secondly that the water meter isn't sort of running. So yeah, and now I'm going to go home. Richard will be home soon, so we're going to have some carrot and lentil soup, and then I will carry on with my work day. I thought I'd come down here tomorrow and that would be my first segment of this week's A Week at the Plot, but obviously it's not. And as I like to take you on the happenings of A Week at the Plot, I decided to bring you down as I checked the water. Yeah, we do actually, at our sister site, the community gardens, we've actually got a sound monitoring station there for Heathrow. Heathrow actually pays for it to be there annually, and yeah, I can log in and see how many decibels the planes are as they go over. Quite fascinating. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go home and have soup. So I will see you very soon for some activity down here at the plot. Bye. Good day. We've had significant rainfall today. It's Thursday, and I was saying in a Tales from the Snug on coffee that This is an area at the plot that we need to sort out, or at the site rather, that we need to sort out. That's our main entrance gate, and over the years this hard standing here has worn away really at the entrance, and in the sort of middle here it's a couple of inches deep. So that's something that we need to sort, because in the winter when we have people coming down like I have just done and come in, there's often water here. It will be gone, it will drain away over a couple of hours, but yeah, we had heavy rain less than half an hour ago and my toesies are a little bit damp. Anyway, I'm going to get onto the plot and do a job. I think we're almost at the time where I need to think about swapping out the gravel trays without holes, the black ones, for the gravel trays with holes, which are the green ones. I'll have a look at the forecasts over the coming days, but yeah, I think it's certainly getting near the time where I need to think about that. In the meantime, what I am going to do whilst I'm here is just give these a weed, because I can see grasses growing in there. So yeah, I'm just going to give those a quick weed. Here I am in the poly, and I came down here to do a specific job. It wasn't to show you the front gate and the water that lays there after heavy rain. It wasn't to empty the gravel trays, but what it was to do was to, can I pick these up? Pot on these geraniums and the ones here. And I also thought I might pot on the lavender cuttings that we've got here, but I'm not doing that because the bag of compost I thought I had down here by the bench isn't down here by the bench. So I've either used it somewhere else, or then there's another bag which looks like a compost bag that has got vermiculite in it, and I may have thought that that bag had compost in it when it doesn't. So I will not be doing the potting on of those cuttings today. Gosh, it is so bright. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get these parsley seedlings into this bed with the lettuce. And I'm also going to save seed from the cucumber that we were talking about the other day. So I'm going to get on and do both of those things, and I will show you the bed of parsley afterwards. I may even show you me putting a few into holes, which you've seen me do loads of times, if you watch, of course. Pretty decent root system on these. Not rocket science. And carry on. Between the lettuce down the middle, I have planted up the seedlings of parsley. There's the coriander over there doing okay. And fingers crossed with this parsley. I do think some will get eaten by slugs or snails over the coming weeks, though fingers crossed not too many. The frogs seem to have vacated the polytunnel now, so things are sort of fending for themselves. But as we can see, those lettuce over there and this Mizuna here are doing fine. In fact, look, there's another Mizuna coming up down here out of the bed. In fact, no, that's a rocket, not a Mizuna. That's a Mizuna, that's a rocket. And then over here and here are seedlings, which I'm not sure what they are. They're not the parsley I've just put in, so they could be lettuce or they could be coriander. They were not showing as such in the coriander leaf as yet. And there's the sun coming out. So that's it for today. I have kept 3 modules of parsley to go into the house, and I have cut up the cucumber. Well, not cut it up, but de-seeded it, as you can see there. So now I'm just going to put that there, these sort of fleshy bits out, and then pop that into a glass jar and do exactly as we did the other week. Right, I will leave it there and see you very soon. Bye. Good day. It is really sunny today, rather gorgeous. And in fact, I've moved over to my left a little bit, because if I sit where I normally sit, the sun is just coming in the door, as you can see here, and you just wouldn't be able to see me. I have popped down today briefly. We have turned the water off because we are testing to see if we have a leak at the meter or whether we have a leak on site. We're hoping we have a leak on the meter, and I needed to water the polytunnel, so I opened up my blue barrel there, as you saw, got the water out, and have given the lettuce and the parsley that is in there and the Mizuna a lovely water, because it certainly needed it. And I'm not going to be doing much today, even though it is glorious weather, simply because we have our allotment association AGM this afternoon. So I've been preparing a report for that. Yesterday we've done all the finances over the last couple of weeks, because our year end is September, and agenda and all of that, and you know, sharing that with the committee and then printing them out. And the other important thing that I've come down to do today is pick up coffee and tea, because we don't actually have our AGM down here. The charity of William Hobbain has a local hall, in fact a big hall and a smaller hall next to it, and then a meeting room as well. And the bigger hall where we have our AGM, that has got a kitchen in it, but we need to take our own tea, coffee, milk and things like that. So yes, we're having the AGM this afternoon, so today is actually about preparing for that and having that. Tomorrow it looks as though it's going to be raining, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get down here for an hour or so just to start covering some beds with cardboard. So the butternut squash bed here, we're not going to be using that anymore, so that can be covered up, the bed next to it, the front area, and then at least by covering things I can stop the weed growth, and then take the cardboard off when I want to do the work underneath, should I wish to do that. I have done weeding, and in the beds that we've been talking about, I've taken out all the perennial weeds that I think need to come out. So those deep rooted ones, so dock and dandelion and things like that, things that have long roots. What's the other one? Not verbena. Oh, verbascum, which I adore. That has come out as well, and artichokes have come out, and cardoon, because some of those do self-seed, and they have quite a taproot on them once they get going. So yes, it's going to be a matter of putting cardboard down. So we've got our bin day, our recycling bin day on Monday. So I'm hoping that tomorrow and Monday morning there'll be quite a bit of cardboard out that I can go and nab on the surrounding streets. So yeah, our AGM today, and I don't know, I always get anxious. I'm not we do YouTube videos and things like that, and I am a social person, but I don't like talking in front of people. I mean, I like talking in front of a few people, but not groups of people. And it's just the way I am. I have anxiety issues around that. Not quite sure why, but I do, and I accept that. I'm not worried about it. So there may be 30, 40, 50 people, maybe 30, 40 usually, at the AGM, and I know them all. This is the thing, I know them all. I speak to them all throughout the year, lots and lots of times. It's just when it's sort of in that more formal surrounding, I have anxiety issues, which, as I say, is fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. And then once the formal part is over and we have done all the reporting on finances and what's happened in the year and events to come and things like that, then comes tea and coffee and wine and cake. So, what's not to like about that? What's not to like about that? So yeah, that's it for today. I've just popped down to do that watering, pick up the tea and coffee. Now I'm going home because I left some things printing on my printer, and I need to get back to them to make sure that the printer hasn't run out of paper. I know it's not run out of ink because I just filled it up. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. It's rather wet. I've been up for a couple of hours now, and it's been off and on rain since I got up. Maybe even before I got up, I don't know. Though there are a few spells where it's not raining, and I think later in the morning we may have a gap of lighter rain. So I'm hoping to get down the plot at some point, because I'd like to do something down there today, even if it's just sit in the shed and ponder. Yeah, we'll see how the day goes. Fingers crossed. You may remember we cleared these trays out of water earlier in the week. And I said I think it's most probably time to swap out the black trays with no drainage holes with the green trays with drainage holes. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now, because the time has come. As well as doing the trays here on this side of the plot, the polytunnel side of the plot, I've done the trays by the shed as well. So the bench where the shed is, I have taken the black trays away, the ones without holes, and put in green ones, the ones with holes. And now I'm in the poly, and I'm looking at the geraniums that I wanted to pot on earlier this week. So we've got these here, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And then of the zonal, not the global, the zonal. I talked about it being global earlier and they're zonal. I always get that wrong. We only have one that has grown from cutting well. As I said earlier in the week, I always have issues with zonal, I say global, zonal geraniums. But what I've remembered is that geraniums and pelargoniums, they don't need great soil. So actually, I know all of this soil where things haven't, cuttings haven't grown or they haven't grown well, I can reuse that. And also what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pot these up into a really big pot. They're just going to be upsized by effectively one pot size. Which is our standard pot. So I'm going to, if you can see the module size, can you see there? And I'm going to be potting them up into that one. It's a bit closer, let me put it there. And you can see it's not hugely bigger than this one, or these, that I'm actually taking this out from. So it's just upsizing them a little. You don't want to put plants into really big pots. It just doesn't make sense to do that. When you pot them on, pot them one or no more than two sizes of a pot up. So whilst the planes are going over, I'm going to get on, reuse the compost here and pot on the 7 that I have into this size pot. Maybe 15 minutes later, and I've potted on these geraniums. This is the zonal. These are just standard geraniums. These zonal are from which the original zonal cuttings I took, but only one has survived. These are all doing well, and in fact the root systems I should have shown you, but the root systems are all pretty good. The Hottentot fig here, I've taken this opportunity of repotting to do some streamlining of trays. You can see there's this tray and this tray now. There were 4 trays across here, now there's only 2, because these 4 Hottentot figs at the back, they were all in the modules like the geraniums were, and I potted those on as well, as you can see. These were much smaller. These were only like 1 leaf, where each of these cuttings here of the Hottentot fig were a couple of leaves. So yeah, they're all doing well. Now this compost that I've used is relatively moist, so I'm not going to do any watering. The geraniums and Hottentot figs, they're quite happy to go on the drier side of moist, so particularly when they're not growing, and of course we're not seeing huge amount of growth going to happen over the winter months, so I'm going to keep these all quite dry. And as I'm keeping them down here, I think as I'm keeping them down here rather than taking them back to the house, I'm likely to put a cover on these just to keep an extra bit of frost away. So the plastic cover I put on will keep a bit of frost away, and obviously they're within the polytunnel, so the polytunnel is going to keep the wind off anyway and the wind chill off, so hopefully these should overwinter well. I think it was Deirdre that was asking about some cuttings she was doing the other day. These are our lavender cuttings that we took earlier in the year, a couple of months ago. This one has died. This one here has died. I can take those out. But you can see that all the others are doing fine. You mostly can't see, but if I do that, maybe you can see. The others just on the edge here are all doing fine. New growth. Deirdre was asking, I think it was Deirdre, how long do I wait before I pot these on? Well, I sort of wait until roots are coming through the bottom, and there are no roots coming through the bottom there. So these are likely to be potted on in the spring. If there were roots coming through here, then I would pot them on today, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just leave them like this till the spring now and pot them on in the spring. So yeah, there we are. There's our sort of cuttings bench as it is at the moment. Right, we've got lots of planes going over today. It is rather glorious weather as well. I mean, as you saw, I'm in my t-shirt at the moment because it's warm. It's about 16 degrees, but it feels warmer. So yeah, I'm just going to sit down, make a few notes of things I need to do this week, and I will see you again next week on Planet Vegetaria for segments of a week at the plot, or I'll see you on YouTube for the whole week in one go of a week at the plot on Monday. Bye.